Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Ladybug Farm. Tomorrow we are processing our chickens and putting meat in our freezer for the next while to come. And this is something that you are legally and perfectly capable and able to do in your backyard. We have two different kinds of chickens that we will be processing. Behind me, you see one of our flocks. We incubate and hatch eggs every year, and we have dual purpose breeds like barred rocks, copper morans, Welsumers, and crested cream leg bars. But you just saw this guy right here. In the past couple weeks, we've sold a few laying hens, and you can see that the roosters are kind of getting a little antsy with each other. We've sold a few dozen of our laying hens, and you only need one rooster for about every dozen hens. So we will be turning these roosters, some of them, into meat for our table. These roosters are older, they're about 8 months, and they will have a darker meat than what you might be used to at the grocery store. And some might consider them a stew bird and use them for making stew. Goodness. Here is our second group of birds that we will be processing tomorrow. These are Cornish Cross. They are not eggs. They are not chicks that we incubated via eggs. We did receive them mail order, and regardless of sex, whether they're female or male, they will be processed tomorrow. Why do we do these birds? They put on a lot of weight very quickly. And these birds are only about 10 weeks old. Some people process them even earlier. We take just a wee bit longer and let them live out their lives by moving them constantly with this portable fencing and this meat shaw tractor that we have behind us. Their taste and the abundance of meat that they're going to provide you with is a lot more like what you will find from the grocery store. They're going to have larger breasts and a lot more white meat on them. So here we have one of our Cornish Crosses, and believe it or not, this guy is only 10 weeks old. And if you could feel him, he is heavy. With our dual purpose breeds, they just have a lot of showy feathers, which make them look a lot bigger. But this guy here is heavy. He has really big breasts, and they are going to produce a lot more meat and a lot more white meat than what you're going to get from those dual purpose breeds that you just saw. But the downfall is that, in my opinion, they are a lazier breed. We've put them out with abundant greens and so much space to free roam. And this right here is mainly all they want to do. They just want to eat all day long. When you raise your own birds, you can control what they eat. You can control what their pasture is, whether you're rotating their pastures or you're putting them in a permanent space. And for our broilers, we prefer Sunrise Farm. They have amazing varieties of feed. We prefer them because they're non-GMO and we can get soy-free food. So check out their website. If you haven't, they have really amazing ingredients in their blends. So processing birds in your backyard, you do not need a fancy setup. The very first time we processed our meat birds, we did so with a rope and a tree and a bucket and a table we made out of sawhorses right in the backyard. You don't need a fancy setup when you're processing your birds. But since we've been doing a couple dozen at a time, here's some things that we have prepared the night before to help us be ready to get up in the morning and just get right to work. Behind me, we have some killing cones. You'll need some buckets. Jared has made a scalder, and that is what you use to heat the birds up so that the feathers come out, but you don't need anything fancy. Again, that first time we did it, I used my big canning pot, and we just took it inside, heated it up over our stove, and kept bringing it back out and using a thermometer to check our temperature. Here we have a plucker. Last year was the very first time that we were able to purchase a plucker, and it saves us so much time. But again, you don't need to have one. You can do all that by hand as long as you have a way to use a scalder. You're also going to need buckets, as you just saw. We use a hose because we have to hook that up to our plucker as well as to fill the scalder. You'll need a cooler to put your birds in while you're waiting to take them inside. And knives. We only used one knife that very first year. You will, inside tonight, we prepared in our kitchen a clean, sanitized sink, a space for you to bring those birds in once you've done all your work out here to dress them up and make them look pretty. Bags to put your birds in, bowls, because you're going to have innards and you're going to have gizzards and you need places to put those things. Dish soap, bleach, scissors, bone shears help. We don't have those yet, but that is something you can use as well. Again, all these are really simple things that will allow you to do this in your own backyard. It is 3 o'clock and we now have 20 birds in our freezer. We eventually got a rhythm going, and in the morning Jared ended their lives. I scalded and plucked. We ate lunch. Then Jared eviscerated and I rinsed and packaged. Our little one helped when she chose, gathering chickens, scalding, eviscerating, and asking away with questions. It's not something we ever look forward to doing, but it's part of being sustainable and putting healthy food on the table for our family. For a few years, I was vegetarian. But once I gained a connection to our food, we made the decision to feel empowered. If we could give the animals the best lives that we possibly could, and if we could source them with what we felt was healthy food. Organic meat also is much more expensive at the grocery store or at your market, and being able to do this, there's a great investment with your time, but you can do it for a lot cheaper. Once all of this dust settles, we will be rescheduling our Meat Birds processing workshop. So we hope to see you back here, or hopefully this is something that you are doing already or can be doing in your backyard. Providing protein sources for yourself is something that we are all capable of doing. Have a beautiful day, everybody.